computer. All right, so it is Tuesday, March 17th, and we are doing our daily social distancing and quarantine tapping support session, moving to the Zoom format. So thanks for everyone for being patient. Yesterday was a bit of an experiment since I had like an hour and a half to prepare this whole thing. And Facebook Live used to allow you to pull someone up and talk with them directly. But in my research yesterday afternoon, I realized they stopped supporting that function in, I think, 2019. So we're doing Zoom here, which is awesome. And I can pull people up, or you can pull your, unmute yourself and start talking. And I will do some tapping with you. So for anyone watching after the fact, I'm assuming some people will be joining in a little bit later. I'm actually going to get my charger on right now because Zoom can sometimes kill the battery here. We are going to be working through people's emotions about the coronavirus using a technique called tapping, which is the emotional freedom technique. And it's a really powerful tool that uses the same meridians as acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine. And meridians are energy centers in the body. And the tapping basically sends calming messages to the brain as we're doing the tapping, which allow previously distressing triggers to stop being stressful and allow your brain to kind of open up. It's closed off stress mode, open up and tune into ideas and intuitions that you have, but that the stress is kind of blocking. So I think what we can do is, I don't want to bore everyone who comes every day by going through all the basics of tapping every single time. Basically, some things to remember. First off, if you're going to be tapping, please wash your hands before and after, because you're going to be touching your face a lot when you're tapping. So remember to practice good hand hygiene with that. We're intentionally saying negative statements in order to make the tapping work. This is not positive mental attitude. We are really diving into negative emotions to make sure that they are, let's change my view here. Oh, I think I'm not on here as the host, which is interesting. Anyway, maybe I am. Here we go. We'll do that. So anyway, so we're saying negative things as we're tapping on purpose, so that we are retraining the brain to process those negative stimuli and emotions in a positive way. And we are also going to focus on our emotions. So what emotions are you feeling about coronavirus right now? Stress. Stress isn't really a good one. You want to have anxiety or panic or fear. Usually there's a fear behind all of it. What am I afraid is going to happen as a result of this? And being as specific as possible and tapping into the emotion that you are having rather than just a thought about the emotion. So I think what we can do is I will ask for a volunteer and we will get started. I think I joined this Zoom link from my Facebook link rather than my own Zoom account. So like, we're just going to see what happens with the forum here with the format. And let's get the party started. So, you know what? I'm going to join. Give me 1 second. Since I know everyone who's on here, I know you will all forgive me as I try to join from a different place as the moderator rather than as a person doing it. So give me a second. Okay, I think it's fine. All right, we're just going to leave it as it is. All right, so, all right. Who wants to volunteer to talk about an emotion they are having about coronavirus? Robin or Ollie, are you interested? And if so, unmute yourself and turn your camera on if you can, so that I can see you and our viewers can tap with you. No pressure. This has been fun for me. It's a reason to like get dressed and put makeup on every day.
This is Robin. I have my I have my video off, but I'm retired, but frustration is my main emotion right now. My mother-in-law is in assisted living and she's on lockdown. And as of yesterday, excuse me, they closed the dining room. So not only are they not allowed to leave, can't have visitors, but now they're alone in their apartments.
Wow. So she's just kind of like totally isolated, and she's in a assisted living, you said?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And how strong is your, it's helpful if, well, I guess it's okay if you see me. You're going to be tapping along with me. Is there a way you can turn your video on, or is that like a social preference right now, or a technical difficulty? It's okay either way. It's helpful for the people to watch you, people who are watching to watch you tap along with me. Robin, are you there?
Yes, I am. I'd rather not, though.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Well, we'll do what we can with it. Let's see how it goes. Have you tapped before, Robin?
I watched yesterday.
Perfect. Okay, great. So what I'm going to basically do is, you did a great job giving me the emotion that you're feeling and the reason why. And can you tell me how strong this frustration is?
Probably about a 7 or 8.
All right. So we'll start with an 8, and we'll check in with that. And Robin, can you tell where you feel that frustration in your body?
Mostly gut, I guess.
Right. Okay. Perfect. So, all right. So we're going to start with the setup statement. And for people who are watching along, either live or after the fact, I mentioned yesterday there's phenomena called borrowed benefits, which means that you can tap along with me. And Ollie, I love that you have your video on. Please do keep it on. I'd love for people to see you tapping along with me if you're comfortable with that. It's so good to see your face. I haven't seen you since 2012. Borrowed benefits, meaning that you can tap along with me, repeating even the things that I say for someone else. And as long as you have an intention in your mind of what you want to work on with the tapping, it doesn't even have to be frustration. You can get benefit from the tapping. So what you're going to repeat out loud to yourself, Ollie, I guess, now you can repeat it. And I think it might be, I'm just trying to figure out how to work with the Zoom, because if you're talking out loud, you might want to mute yourself. If you're not, I think you are muted still. So just keep yourself muted, but you can repeat it out loud. Robin, keep yourself off mute, so you'll be repeating after me. And we'll see how it goes.
If I go to your video, it turns off. It remutes my mic.
If you go to,
if I go to the video that shows you, it turns off my mic again. My mic is only unmuted when I'm on the screen that just says microphone.
Okay, let's see.
So I'll just go along with you, even if you can't hear me.
Okay, I think if you just start talking, it works, or just don't click anything. Let's just see how it goes. All right.
Okay, so can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay, so it must automatically do it.
Good. Okay. All right, so we're going to tap on frustration that your mother is at assisted living and her restrictions are getting even stronger. All right, so we'll start with the setup statement. We're going to tap on the karate chop point here. And remember, you can tap on either side. You can tap with both hands when we get to the other ones. It doesn't matter which side of the body or which hand, or you could do both. All right, so, and you want to do at least 5 to 7 taps per position.
Alrighty.
You'll do for sure because I'm saying something and then you're saying something. All right. Even though I'm frustrated that my mother's assisted living has further isolated the residents, and you can repeat after me now, Robin.
Even though I'm frustrated that the assisted living has isolated the residents,
And my mom is even more cut off than she
and
was before,
and she's even more cut off than she was,
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
Even though I'm frustrated that my mother's assisted living has increased the social isolation,
Even though the assisted living has increased my mother's social isolation,
and she can't even go down for a meal,
and she can't even go down for a meal,
I accept and forgive myself exactly as I am in this moment.
I forgive and accept myself exactly as I am.
Even though I'm frustrated that my mother's assisted living causing her to be very socially isolated,
Even though the assisted living has isolated my mother even more,
I love and accept myself completely.
I love and accept myself completely.
All right, top of the head. I'm frustrated.
I'm frustrated,
So frustrated.
so frustrated,
All this frustration.
all this frustration.
I'm frustrated that my mother's assisted living has increased the social distancing.
I'm frustrated that my mother's assisted living has increased their social distancing and isolation.
And remember, Robin, if I ever say anything that doesn't resonate with you, just repeat something back different or tell me and we'll come up with something different.
Okay,
All this frustration.
all this frustration.
She's all by herself in her apartment.
She's all by herself in her apartment,
And there's nothing I can do to help her.
there's nothing I can do to help her.
Robin, are they letting you visit there?
We can take things to the door, but can't go in. So I'm going to take her some soup and some other things today.
Okay. And are they like bringing dinner to their rooms? Like, are they delivering?
Yes,
Okay, good.
yes.
Okay. It's helpful for me to know for tapping, but also helpful to know that your mom's getting her food delivered. I'm frustrated because I can't visit my mother.
I'm frustrated because I can't visit her.
I can't even share a meal with her.
I can't even share a meal with her.
And she is not able to interact with anybody in her apartment by herself.
She's not able to interact with anyone in her apartment by herself.
And I'm so frustrated.
I'm frustrated.
I feel powerless.
I feel powerless.
There's nothing I can do to help her right now.
There's nothing I can do to help her right now.
I don't even know how she's handling all of it.
I don't know how she's handling it.
And I understand the limitations, but I'm still so frustrated.
I understand the limitations, but I'm frustrated.
What good is living in a assisted living place if you can't be social?
Yeah, what good is living in an assisted living place if you can't be social with the others?
So frustrated.
So frustrated.
I'm feeling all this frustration.
I'm feeling a lot of frustration.
I feel powerless, like I can't help my mom.
I feel powerless to help my mom.
What if she starts to get really depressed?
If she starts to get really depressed, that'll be hard.
And I feel because I can't help her.
I feel frustrated and helpless because I can't help her.
All this frustration.
All this frustration.
I feel frustrated because I can't help my mom.
I feel frustrated because I can't help her.
It's hard enough for me to be in social isolation, but it's even worse for her.
It's hard for me to be socially isolated, but even worse for her.
All right, so let's pause. Let's take a deep breath. All right. So for anyone joining late, Robin is opting out of the video option, which I fully respect. We have Ollie on the left, who is doing the tapping along as well, which I encourage you to do as well. And so you can see what it looks like with someone else doing it. All right, Robin, how are you feeling now? What came up for you?
Better, I think.
Okay. How strong is that frustration?
Probably about a 3 or a 4.
Awesome. Okay. Did any like insights or aha moments or memories or images or anything come up for you while we were tapping?
No, just trying to come up with some things that she can do by herself.
Okay, like what?
Well, periodically I've taken craft activities over for her, and she always says she's not artistic, but she enjoys them.
Oh, I
So I
love
may pick up some little things for her to do.
that. Okay.
I don't know that she'd do them by herself, though.
Well, desperate times. We all for desperate measures. So we
Yeah,
might.
that's true.
I remember when my sister was on bed rest she was on bed rest for 2.5 weeks in the hospital before she had her twins. This is like 14 years ago, and I brought her all these crafting things, and she's like, all I really want to do right now is watch, like, I think it was the OC, like just turn her brain off. At that time, she didn't want to do anything active, but that was a little bit different because we were all able to go in and visit with her. Okay, so crafting, what else came up for you while we were tapping?
Just really not a whole lot else.
Okay. Okay. Any other ideas about stuff she could do on her own, or ways you can make her more comfortable?
Well, she doesn't watch much TV, so I'll probably encourage her to turn on the TV because they do have cable hooked up to her apartment.
Okay, great, great. And is she someone who's like, does she use internet? I know that some folks don't like doing that, but can you do like FaceTime with her or anything like that?
Actually, my granddaughter FaceTimed her last night,
Oh, I love
and
that.
she loved that. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Um,
Okay, so there's ways to access her. I've been doing that with my family as well, and it's like really reassuring to see people's faces. This is actually really nice doing it on Zoom where I can see everybody who's on, not just the person I'm tapping with. All right, well, let's get back into the tapping. So right now we're down to a 3 or 4. Actually, after we're talking a little bit more, is it still a 3 or 4 out of 10? Has it changed at all, the frustration?
it's definitely not worse.
Okay. All right. So we'll stick with 3 or 4. Let's keep tapping. And everyone who's there with joining along, keep tapping with us.
So you only do the karate chop point at the start of the whole
Yeah, the karate.
session.
That's like our like initiation for the emotion, and then we put it away,
Okay.
and then we do the rest of it. So yeah, we just go back up to the top of the head. If we were to switch emotions, Robin, like if you were like, oh, anger, then we would start karate chopping on anger and do a whole new tap
Okay.
on anger. All right, so I'm feeling frustrated.
I'm feeling frustrated.
All this frustration.
All this frustration.
I'm frustrated that my mom is on social isolation.
I'm frustrated that my mom's on social isolation.
And even though she seems to be handling it pretty well,
Even though she seems to be handling it pretty well,
I'm
I'm
nervous.
still frustrated.
Yeah, I'm still frustrated.
Yes, I'm still
And
frustrated.
I'm nervous that I can't help her.
I'm nervous I can't help her.
And I'm frustrated that there's nothing I can do.
It's frustrating that I can't do anything.
It's frustrating that none of us can really do anything right now.
It's frustrating that no one can do anything for her.
And we're all stuck in our homes right now.
We're all stuck in our homes.
And this is a really hard time for everybody,
This is a hard time for everybody,
especially our elderly who are even more vulnerable.
especially for our vulnerable elderly.
How old is she, Robin? She's got to be like in her 90s, right?
She's 95.
Yeah. Okay. 'Cause I know Robin, so I know your age. So I was just sort of trying to do some of the math there. So she's 95. That's impressive. She sounds like quite a lady.
Yeah, her husband just died a couple of months ago.
Oh, sad. All right.
Yeah,
So I'm frustrated that my mother is isolated at
I'm
her assisted living.
frustrated that she's isolated.
All this frustration.
all this frustration.
I feel so frustrated.
I feel so frustrated.
She moved there so she could be around other people.
She moved there to be around other people.
And now she's stuck in her little apartment all by herself.
Now she's stuck in her apartment by herself.
And she can't even share meals with people.
She can't even share meals with people in the dining room.
And it's so frustrating.
It's frustrating.
On some level, I'm grateful that the facility is being proactive.
I'm happy that the institution is protecting them.
But I'm still really frustrated because she's all by herself.
But I'm still frustrated because she's by herself.
All this frustration.
All this frustration.
I'm feeling so frustrated and powerless.
Feeling frustrated and powerless.
I wish there was more that I could do for her.
I wish there was more I could do for her.
All this frustration.
All this frustration.
All right, let's pause, take a deep breath. All right, Robin, how are you feeling now?
Probably about a 1 or a 2.
1 or a 2, great. Any insights, aha moments, ideas, anything like that come up while we were tapping?
Not really anything new.
Okay. Any new emotions come up for you?
Acceptance.
Acceptance, wow, all right. That's super powerful. All right, so now you're 1 or 2, you're feeling some acceptance. And for people tapping at home, some signs that you might be having your own acceptance, clearing some of the energy would be sighing, not just when I ask you to take a deep breath, but sighing on your own, yawning. Tears also are a sign. If you find yourself getting emotional, don't block it, just let it happen. It's really, really the most cathartic thing. So, all right, so let's tap in some positivity, Robin, now that we have you at this wonderful place of acceptance, and we're gonna train your nervous system in that way. So let's keep tapping. I am worried about my mom by herself at the assisted living.
I'm worried about her by herself at assisted living.
But I also know that everyone's doing everything they can.
But I know everyone's doing what they can.
She's 95, and my priority is to keep her healthy.
She's 95, and I want to keep her healthy.
And I know that her assisted living wants to keep her healthy as well.
I know assisted living wants to keep her healthy too.
And there's lots of ways that I can still connect with her.
I can still connect with her.
We can FaceTime.
We can FaceTime or text.
Or text. Yeah, and I can bring her crafts for her to do.
I can bring her crafts and treats.
And maybe buy the same crafts and do them at home with her on FaceTime.
I could do the same crafts with her.
And that would be a sense that we're there together.
That would bring us together.
And I'm just feeling all this frustration leaving my body.
Frustration is leaving.
And it's so much, I feel so much lighter.
I feel so much lighter.
And now that I'm out of that frustration mode, I can start to think more creatively.
Now that I'm not negative, I can start thinking positively.
And I've got all sorts of ideas for how I can still connect with my mom.
Got good ideas to connect.
And I feel this sense of acceptance.
I feel acceptance.
I know that we're all doing what we can in this crisis.
I know we're doing what we can.
And I'm so grateful to have some hope.
And I'm grateful for some help.
I said hope, but also
hope. Sorry, it's hope.
All right. So let's pause, take a deep breath. How are you feeling now, Robin?
I'm pretty low level right now, so that's good.
Good. And the beauty of this technique is that there may be lots of things causing you frustration, but this particular aspect of your frustration, once you've tapped it out, generally it's gone once you get it down to like a 0 or a 1 or a 2. So if you do find yourself getting frustrated again, you want to ask yourself, what am I frustrated about? and you can tap on that specific thing that you're frustrated on. Because if I just tap with you on I'm frustrated, but not about a specific reason, it's not going to work as well or as permanently. Anything else come up for you while we were tapping in the positive?
Not really. When you're tapping in the axilla, where are you tapping?
I'm like at the bra line, so kind of
Okay.
like mid-axillary line. I'm going to get all doctory
Okay.
on the group here.
I do remember you saying that yesterday.
Yeah, so it's kind of, if you're not wearing a bra for, if you don't wear bras or you're not wearing one currently, it's where the bra line would go. And I just use my fist generally, but people use their fingers as well, like that, or they cross over or do it on the same side. It just depends on your elbow mobility. A lot of people do it in different ways. Any other questions, Robin? You did amazing. I'm so happy
No.
that you're feeling so much better. Any other comments about this?
Nope. Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else?
Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm so glad you joined. Thank you for joining. Does anyone else want to go? I think we have time for one more. Ollie, you want to try it? So we can all hear your fabulous French accent.
Hi. Don't start. Don't start. What could I be tapping on? We talked about anger yesterday.
Yeah.
The anger of not being able to help my patients. But then I had this moments where we're doing it. I guess what's happening today is more of a feeling of being overwhelmed. Like I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm an early riser, but I was up at 4 o'clock this morning, and actually so many ideas of what I could do with them, but at the same time a little overwhelming, which brought some procrastination at the same time today. I mean, it's also, to be fair, it's we're on a complete lockdown here in France since today. So it's kind of the first day. It's like having a day off, which I never have. So I have to be nice to myself as well and just accept that, there are times to be on and times to be off. But it feels like I have all these ideas and I'm a little, overwhelmed. Like, oh my God, I could do this with them, and we could do meditation, and we could do blah 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 blah. So I guess that's what it would be. If I had to pick something, that would be this sense of being overwhelmed.
Okay. All right. And so it's like overwhelmed with, you have all these ideas. Because yesterday you were talking about, you were having some like anger that you can't, Ollie's an acupuncturist, and you were not able to work with your clients right now. And you can't help the people that you've done all this training and have all this expertise to help. And then by the end of the tapping session yesterday, you were like, oh wait, there's things I can do. So now this is the things you can do. Now they're like swirling around in your brain. Okay, perfect.
Exactly.
I highly suggest a 12 o'clock deadline every day going live on TV. That's going to help you with procrastination. I'm like, all right, well, the day's going to happen. I got to get stuff done. So, all right. So let's tap on that. How strong is your overwhelm?
I would say it has gone down. Tapping with Robin, I have to say. Okay. Weirdly enough, I guess there was a little bit of frustration associated to it. So it's probably like a 7 or 6 about.
Okay. And what you're feeling, it wasn't, you don't even have to be tapping on frustration to get the borrowed benefits from tapping with someone. If you have your own overwhelm or your own whatever in your mind, you can still just tap along and it works. So it's pretty powerful that way. Where do you feel that overwhelm in your body?
Sorry, it cut out. I didn't hear what you said.
Where do you feel the overwhelm in your body?
Oh, in my head. It comes with a slight headache, I have to say.
Okay. All right, let's get started. Even though I'm overwhelmed at all the ideas in my head of how to help my client during this time.
Even though I'm overwhelmed with all these ideas, I can help my patients or my clients during this time.
You call them, they're patients for you?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Then I'll use that term. I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
Even though I'm overwhelmed at all these ideas I have to help my patients during this time.
Even though I'm overwhelmed with all the ideas I have to help my patients this time.
I accept and forgive myself exactly as I am in this moment.
I accept and forgive myself exactly how I am at this moment.
even though I am overwhelmed at all these incredible ideas that I have right now.
Even though I'm overwhelmed with all these ideas I have to help my patients right now,
And it's making me procrastinate a little bit.
and it's making me procrastinate a little bit.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
All right, top of the head. I'm overwhelmed.
I'm overwhelmed.
I'm moving through some of my anger, but now I've just got all these ideas.
I'm moving through my anger, but now I have all these ideas.
And I feel overwhelmed.
And I feel overwhelmed.
I feel this overwhelm in my head.
I felt overwhelmed in my head.
I have so many ways that I could still help my patients,
I have so many ways I can still help my patients,
but now I have to actually implement them.
but now I have to actually implement them.
And I have to pick the ones that I think are going to be the most effective
And I have to pick the ones that I think are going to be the most effective
and the most realistic
and the most realistic
and the most attainable.
and the most attainable.
And that's a lot for me to be thinking about.
And that's a lot for me to be thinking about.
I'm feeling so overwhelmed.
I'm feeling so overwhelmed.
All this overwhelm.
All this overwhelmed.
I want to do what I can to support my patients during this lockdown.
I want to do everything I can to help my patients during this lockdown.
And I also want to keep myself engaged with what I love to do.
And I want to keep myself engaged with what I love to do.
But right now, it just seems very overwhelming.
But right now, it just seems very overwhelming.
I'm having to recreate my entire business model
I'm having to recreate my entire business model
with a business that depends on human touch.
with a business that depends on human touch.
And that's overwhelming.
And that's overwhelming.
How am I going to do it?
How am I going to do it?
How am I going to get all this done without procrastinating?
How am I going to get all this done without procrastinating?
And how am I going to honor my body's need to rest for the first time in a long time?
And how I'm going to honor my body to rest for the first time in a very long time.
All this overwhelm.
All this overwhelm.
So many things for me to take care of right now.
So many things to take care of right now.
Right now, it just feels impossible.
Right now, it just feels impossible.
All right, so let's pause, take a deep breath. All right, so tell me how you're feeling. How strong is the overwhelm right now?
Definitely feeling more peaceful. Something came up though, which is the isolation for my family. My family is not near me. My mom just turned 80, and you know, it just came up. I don't know what to do with it, but as we were doing it, things seem to be clearer in terms of what I need to do for my patients. I just need to do it, and you know, that's all it is really. I just need to give it a go and see how it goes and take it on a daily basis and not expect perfection. But at the same time, there's this isolation. I'm by myself here in my house. I live alone, and my family is not near. And so I'm trying to feel what it is. It's not that I'm scared for them. It's not frustration either. Can't tell what it is exactly. It just popped up as we were doing it. You know, this
Is it
thing
a
not
loneliness?
being connected physically with my family.
Yeah, is it a loneliness, do you think? Or is it more for them or more for you?
I think it's
Helplessness.
Oh, Robert.
no, that's not helplessness. I think it's mainly my mom, because she's very lonely. She's by herself in a big house in the countryside, and she's fine. She's totally fine and in great health, and I mean she's amazing. But I know how she feels lonely, and
Okay. Well, you know,
I don't
what
know.
we can do is tap on it. We don't always have to have a perfect emotion. Sometimes we just can't come up with it. Can you give me a number on the overwhelm? Like, how strong is that right now?
I think I don't feel overwhelmed anymore. I just need to feel organized.
Okay. All right. So we've got
If that
zero.
makes sense.
Yeah, we've got 0 to 10 on the overwhelm. And the really cool thing about tapping is that like once we get out of the stress mode about these things, we can go into action. And we already saw that with Robin, and like, oh, I can just like bring her some snacks and bring her some crafts. So so now we're out of the overwhelm, and now you're probably like, oh, okay, like I can do these specific things and I don't have to worry about perfection. So as often happens, is a new emotion will come up or a new thought. So let's tap on that and see what comes out of it. So, and then we can go back and tap in positive. Just let's see where this goes. Even though I'm feeling this sense of being isolated from my family.
Even though I'm feeling this sense of being isolated from my family.
And how strong is that sense, whatever it is that you're feeling, Ollie?
Sorry, what did you say?
How strong is that sense of feeling isolated from them?
It's like an 8.
An 8, okay. So even though I'm feeling this sense of isolation from my family.
Even though I'm feeling this sense of isolation from my family.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
Even though I'm feeling this sense of isolation from my family.
Even though I'm feeling this sense of isolation from my family.
And I can't even really put my finger on it.
I cannot really put my finger on it.
I accept and forgive myself exactly as I am in this moment.
I accept myself completely as I am at this moment.
Good enough. Perfect. Even though I'm feeling this sense of isolation from my family.
Even though I'm feeling this sense of isolation from my family.
I love and accept myself exactly as I am in this moment.
I love and accept myself exactly as I am in this moment.
Top of the head. I feel isolated from my mom.
I feel isolated from my mom.
And I feel this isolation from the rest of my family.
And I feel this isolation from the rest of my family.
I'm here all by myself in my house.
I'm here all by myself in my house.
And my mom is far away from me in her big country house by herself.
And my mom is far away from me in the big country house by herself. I know what it is, actually, just came up.
Okay. What is it?
My godfather is dying in hospital in Marseille from Alzheimer's. And he stopped, eating and everything a couple of days ago, and we know it's pretty much the end. And I sense how it's affecting my mom. It's her brother, and I sense how it's affecting her, and how powerless she is. And I actually feel sad for her, and I actually feel sadness right now.
Okay.
Like I'm a little teary right now.
Okay, that's great. This is all moving through you, and it's great that you're able to.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll start tapping and not quite know what we're tapping about, and then it becomes great.
Right.
Did you say it was your godfather who's sick?
It's it's my uncle and godfather. Yeah,
Okay.
It's somebody I really looked up to as a little kid. He was one of my heroes when I was a little kid. He was very active. He was a therapist. I wanted to be a therapist. I was 6 years old. He represented everything I wanted to be, and
Okay. Okay.
So,
And
yeah.
how strong is your sadness?
Yeah, I'm getting a little teary. I'm probably like a 9.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for being so vulnerable here on
Oh.
there's 5 people here, so we don't, or 4 people here, so we don't have to worry about right now about all of it. But let's go.
You know me. It could be 25 people have no filter. You know me.
It's true. That's true. I think you're awesome. All right. So even though I feel sad that my godfather is dying right now and he's all alone.
Even though I feel sad that my godfather is dying and alone.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
Even though I feel all this sadness that my godfather is all by himself right now.
Even though I'm feeling all this sadness that my godfather is all by himself right now.
I accept and forgive myself exactly as I am in this moment.
I accept and forgive myself exactly as I am right now, at this moment.
Even though my godfather is dying and I feel very sad about it.
Even though my godfather is dying and I feel very sad about it.
And he's all by himself.
And he's all by himself.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
I'm sad.
I'm sad.
All this sadness.
all this sadness.
I'm sad that my godfather's all by himself right now.
I'm sad that my godfather is all by himself right now.
He's just stopped eating.
He just stopped eating,
And none of us can be there with him.
and none of us can be there with him.
He was a really important person in my life and my mom's life.
He's been a really important person in my life.
Is it her brother?
Excuse me?
Is it your mom's brother? You said it was your
It's my
uncle.
mom's brother, yes.
Okay. And she's all the way over by herself in her country house.
And my mom is by herself in a country house.
And she's not able to go be with him either.
And she's not able to go and be with him either.
And so we're all separated from each other.
So we're all separated from each other.
And it's really sad.
And it's really sad.
All the sadness.
All the sadness.
I'm sad that my grandfather is all by himself right now.
I'm sad that my
It's like Godfather, I'm sorry.
godfather is by himself right now.
And we can't go either with him.
And we can go and be there with him.
He's all alone.
He's all alone.
All the sadness.
All the sadness.
So much sadness.
So much sadness.
Okay, so let's take a pause. Deep breath. How are you feeling?
Good, good. Actually, just sighed just before the end of it.
Yeah.
And I actually felt it in my liver, like it was like this release from the liver. It was like this weight you can have. I don't know if that's something you can relate to, but like in your liver, just popped out and vanished.
That's great. That's great. I can relate to the feeling of feeling lighter and release. I don't know if I've ever felt my liver, but I'm aware that people can, and I've certainly can understand. You're an acupuncturist, so you're very in touch with all your organs.
Right.
How strong is your sadness right now?
Sadness is here, just like a veil, because it's a sad time, but it's not overwhelming.
Okay.
So, and I'm not feeling teary like I was just earlier. Yeah, it's like a 2, 1 or 2.
And going back to your feeling overwhelmed that we were talking about before, where is that?
That has gone down. Like I said earlier, I fully realized that I just have to put everything in motion and it's going to be fine.
Okay. All right. Well, let's tap in some positivity. Do you feel like you prefer to doing that for your overwhelm or for the sadness about your godfather?
The sadness.
Okay. All right. I have the sadness.
I have this sadness.
My godfather is all by himself.
My godfather is all by himself.
But I know on some level that he knows that we're there with him.
But I know that on some levels, he knows we're there with him.
Because we can be there with him energetically.
Because we can be with him energetically.
The same way that I can feel connected to somebody through a Zoom conference.
The same way I can feel connected to other people.
There's nothing other than space separating us right now.
There's nothing other than space separating us right now.
Because my heart is with him.
Because my heart is with him.
And I know my mom's heart is with him as well.
And I know that my mom's heart is with him as well.
And I know this sadness is something that's temporary.
I know this sadness is temporary.
And I feel the sadness leaving my body.
And I feel the sadness leaving my body.
I feel so much lighter now.
I feel so much lighter now.
Everything is happening and none of us have any control over it.
Everything is happening and none of us has any control over it.
But I know that I can still feel connected to my godfather even if I'm not there with him.
But I know I can still feel connected to my godfather even though I'm not with him.
And that's calming on some level.
And that's calming on some level.
All the sadness leaving my body.
All the sadness leaving my body.
All this release.
All this release.
All right, so let's stop. Take a deep breath. How are you feeling?
Good. Thank you. Good.
Anything come up for you?
Just stillness.
Stillness. Beautiful. All right. Well, I think any other questions or comments from anyone else who's here? Any questions or comments? Ollie, you did amazing. Robin, you did amazing. It's such a joy being able to connect with you in this format. It's sort of a sign of the times, I suppose. But hopefully, you're both feeling better. Any questions or comments, Carol? Do you have any comments or questions? You guys can just speak up, I think. You might need to unmute yourself. Nothing? All right. All right, so I will be back tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time. We'll do the same thing. I think the Zoom format worked much better than the Facebook Live. So remember, if you come, you don't have to go. You can actually work with me just like Robin did and not have to turn your video on. So don't feel any pressure with that. And it's I think most important that we can just talk back and forth without me having to like sift through the comments like I did yesterday. So thank you all for joining me. I hope you are all feeling a little bit more peaceful and calm. And I will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much.